What's going on, everybody? This is John Jake Gaming on the mic here, coming at you here in Conference Championship Week, as we got 5 games on tap deciding the final automatic qualifier slots for the FCS playoffs here in season number 1. So, gonna be a great episode on tap for the first YouTube premiere of this series, man. So I hope you guys are excited for it. Make sure you go ahead, smack that like button, hit the subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel. As we jump into our first matchup of the evening, we got a matchup from the regular season. We got James Madison taking on the Delaware Fighting Blue Hens. And it is hard to beat a team twice, but we'll see if it could possibly happen. Here is one of the first plays of the game. Craig Davis throwing an absolute bomb over the middle of the field, and that will get Delaware to about midfield there. That will get them across the 50-yard line. We'll see if they can go ahead and finish the drive, as that's an incredible throw down the left-hand side. Double coverage, but it doesn't even matter though. 49-yard touchdown. That will see Delaware strike first in this ball game. They will take the early 7-0 lead. But if I'm showing special teams, you already know, for those of you that have been around for a while, that something is about to go down as James Madison, they get their hands on the ball. Maurice Gray, he has one man left to beat, and he's gonna be gone like a girl in a country song. Touchdown, James Madison. And just like that, this game is all knotted up at 7 apiece now. We are going to be in for an exciting ACC Conference Championship game, as sometimes it is simply just better to be lucky than it is to be good. The coverage here was actually really outstanding. I mean, you get a tip on the football, could have been intercepted, but instead it lands right in the hands of a Delaware player, but not on the next play though, as we will see our first turnover of the game. Lincoln Riley, this defensive back, not to be confused with the current USC head coach, he gets his 4th interception of the season, and it will help cash in a touchdown for the Dukes, as Kenny Raymer, one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football here at the FCS level, he's able to cash in on the opportunity. Beautiful play action, all the time in the world. And that receiver, man, let's be honest, he was wide butt naked open as well. And the Dukes will take a lead. We'll get to grow that lead, except Kenny Raymer overthrows his receiver. Wow, that is an absolute rarity to see a miss like that. He was open downfield looking for Maurice Gray. And instead, Delaware now with a chance to tie this game at 14 apiece, looking to take a shot of their own. And sure enough, they're going to cash it in there, as Craig Davis now already with close to 150 yards passing. He has been really sharp in this game so far. It will lead to a field goal. They'll cut the lead down to 4, as they will force James Madison to go free and out. But what's going on with the hands though, as the ball was muffed and the receiver, the return man, had no idea where the ball went. Just an absolute boneheaded play there. And James Madison, they will get a field goal out of it. Very fortunate that it will remain a 1-possession game. When you get teams this evenly matched in a game against each other, you know, those turnovers, those small plays like that, they could very well be the difference, as Kenny Raymer does end up getting shaken up on the previous drive. So backup quarterback does come into the game here in the second half, as McGee was trying to find somebody downfield, but he ends up getting sacked. Not the same pocket presence as Kenny Raymer, and it gives Delaware possibly a chance to take the lead here. But Jesus Moses, he's going to get his 2nd sack of the day. But despite that, Delaware still able to put together a good drive, even as much as get into the red zone as they throw towards the end zone, and it's a touchdown. Delaware retaking the lead halfway through this 3rd quarter, looking for really that goal line fade in the middle of the end zone, and he certainly got it, as that was Dennis Tanner that, you know, ultimately set things up there. and a chance to possibly make this a 2-score game after another James Madison free and out. Davis looking over to his tight end, but his tight end, he threw it to the wrong spot. And that will be the 3rd turnover of the day for this Duke's defense, and at a big time too, as it sets up a chance to at least tie this game. But they got to get this 4th down conversion, but instead it's going the other way. Mama, there goes that man, strutting his stuff down the end zone. And instead of that 4th down conversion that they were looking for, it ends up being not only an interception, but also a pick 6. James Madison now in serious trouble, down by 10. Gotta get a big play from your quarterback, and that's a big time throw there to respond to the pick 6 on the previous drive. This is a tight area. This is not an easy throw to make by any stretch of the imagination. But Kenny Raymer, he can certainly make it as he's looking for somebody to get open downfield. Doesn't happen there, though. So they will stall in the red zone as that sack will bring up 4th down. And the Dukes will get a field goal on the board to get it back down to a 7-point game. We'll see if we can see them tie this thing, though, as that right there is just great throw. Great pitch and catch as well. Beautiful route as well. Faking the out and go. And now goal line set here at the 7-yard line. Raymer looking towards the right-hand side. He's got somebody in the flat, and it's going to be a touchdown. Raymer leading his troops down the field, and it's all knotted up at 27 apiece. What a game so far, as it looks like it's going to come down to the last few minutes of this game. Who wants it more? Raymer looking left, but he's intercepted in a big-time turnover to get their 3rd interception of the day. They have frustrated Kenny Raymer in his 2nd attempt in playing against his Delaware squad. As now, Delaware was able to get a field goal out of it. So now we're looking at possibly Delaware beating this team 2 times in a row. That would be very big time, as they are in serious trouble now. They got to get downfield quickly, or at least get a stop, as a touchdown here would likely seal the deal. 2nd and 8 from the 16-yard line. We are down to the last 2 minutes of the game, but they run the football, and it's going to be a touchdown. Oh, that could be the dagger right there, as that now gives Delaware a 10-point lead. 90 seconds left to play, and these sacks are starting to add up. A team that usually moves the ball downfield really good. This is a team that averages over 500 yards of total offense per game. It just has not happened here today. And unless we see a miracle, it looks like Delaware is going to win the new look ACC championship. But wait a minute now. We got a touchdown here with 50 seconds left to play. And after the extra point is made, it gets down to a field goal game. So if this onside kick can be recovered, we might have a game. Otherwise, if Delaware recovers, this game is over. And there's a little bit of a scrum, but Delaware is going to retrieve the onside kick, and that will seal the deal. Delaware is going to win the ACC championship here in season number 1 of this FCS Dynasty. And what an incredible game. If all the other games are like this, then we are going to be in for a really special treat, you guys. It's going to be one heck of an episode. I can already tell if we get in some barn burners like that. But Delaware is able to prevail. They will get the automatic qualifier for the ACC. James Madison, who could have played themselves into a first-round bye, we will now have to see if they get to host a home game or if they go on the road to play against somebody else, as this will put those first-round bye hopes completely dashed. Another team that might try to get themselves into that top 8 to get that first-round bye is Georgia Southern, who comes in 9-2, ranked number 13 in the country. But first, they got to take care of the Northwestern State Demons, who you already know is going to be on demon time. If Northwestern State, if they do not win this game, then their season is going to be over. They have to win this game if they want to go to the FCS playoffs. Georgia Southern, not as dire. If they win, we know that they're in. Otherwise, if they lose this game, they might get put on the bubble. And one man that's going to decide this game most likely, Ikeda Woods, who was in that Heisman finalist list coming into this week. And it's certainly much deserved, one of the most dynamic players in the FCS, but he fumbles the football early here. And Northwestern State is going to recover it. So if you're trying to pull an upset in one of the biggest game of the season for your program, this is how you do it. As Northwestern State, they're going to take over in Georgia Southern territory and cash it in. Touchdown, Demons. As a 30-yard touchdown, this is a team that likes to run the football. They passing it this time around. As that defensive back was trying to dive for the deflection. Probably should have just stayed on his feet. And now Ikeda Woods down 7-0 early, but finds his receiver. This is what makes him so dynamic and so hard to stop. Look at those stats coming into today. Not only does he have 1,000 yards rushing, but, getting closer to 2,000 yards passing for an option quarterback, that's insanely good. And that's why he is simply built different. We'll see him go to work on the goal line. One of the best third down conversion teams in the country. 50% on the year. We'll see if they can get into the end zone here as well. As it's 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line. Gets it out to Cottrell on the edge, who's able to follow his blocks into the end zone. And it's going to be a touchdown for Northwestern, or Georgia Southern. It's all tied up all of a sudden. As Ikeda Woods trying to get out of the pocket there on a 3rd and long. Forced to pass the football, but Northwestern State able to get in there and get the sack. So we're going to force the punt back to the Demons as they're looking to retake the lead here once again. As we see this tailback go to work, and he's able to Houdini his way out of all of that traffic that was in the box there and is able to run it in for a 73-yard touchdown. Look at this. There was not a ton of room to work with there, but somehow managing to find his way, and then it turns into a foot race. The type of foot race that this tailback usually wins. And give credit to these Demon squad, man. They are certainly playing hard and playing tough, but Georgia Southern, they're going to keep rumbling and stumbling down the field. They're not going to panic. They got a really composed squad on the other end. As they do get into the red zone here, 2nd and 5. Ikeda going to take it to the outside. He's going to pitch it out to his receiver, who runs it into the end zone. Touchdown, Eagles. And how about that? A little bit of a jet sweep concept thrown into the option offense. Really a creative play call there, and it sets up a touchdown because of it. But we're down to the last couple of minutes here. Northwestern State trying to get something on board before halftime. And almost another touchdown, but that receiver getting caught from behind. But look what ends up happening here. We're going to see a receiver celebrate a little bit too much, so it sets up 1st and goal from the 25. Yet it doesn't even matter, though, as William Gaston, 2nd touchdown on the day. I mean, great blocks using the juke moves to the left, to the right, and we got a little bit of a dancer in the backfield now. As the Demons now with a 21-14 lead. As now we go ahead and see how Georgia Southern can respond. Going to take this one out from the goal line. He's able to stiff arm a man, is able to run away from the rest. As mama, there goes that man strutting his stuff and into the end zone. Touchdown, Eagles. As a 100-yard score that is going to go ahead and tie this thing up at 21 apiece, as that was what the final score was going into the halftime locker room. Now we go into the second half. In this second half, we know it's going to be the difference. It's been gridlocked this whole game, back and forth. One play could very well be the difference, and that could be the one. Fumble as Trey Manson loses the ball as he gets absolutely walloped. He should have called fair catch there. Didn't do it. And now Georgia Southern with a chance to catch it from the 13. Cottrell following his blocks and untouched. Not going to get anything on that jersey there as he's going to waltz his way into the end zone. And the Eagles will take the lead. As it's 28 to 21, but don't have to wait very long for the Demons to respond as they'll go ahead and get a touchdown of their own. And it's still back and forth. 28 apiece. Although this could be huge though in the fourth quarter. Another turnover by Ikeda Woods. He wanted to pitch it out, but his arm got hit as he was releasing the pitch. And now Northwestern State possibly with a chance. Oh my! This quarterback with the greatest run of conference championship week, possibly. I mean, this man was looking to pass originally, and then Robinson, he jukes away from one defender. Just absolutely incredible. Usually you see a quarterback slide there in those kinds of situations, but you know, when you got to pull an upset, sometimes you got to be bold and sometimes you got to be brave. We saw both of that there. And now Georgia Southern, they got to come through and get a drive of their own. They want to tie this thing up. Final couple of minutes, 2nd and 8. Ikeda hands it off to the fullback. He gets to the outside. He's at the 20, the 15. He's rumbling and stumbling inside the 10-yard line as both teams. One thing that is certainly clear, they can both run the football extremely well now as Taylor gets his squad in a goal line situation inside the 10-yard line. And that is a danger zone for Georgia Southern. They've been 3 for 3 on the day in red zone situations. Fullback looking to find his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia Southern, as they go with the fullback on the triple option. And now all knotted up at 35 apiece. We'll see if Northwestern State can get a game-winning drive together here. Except we see Joe Pleasant with the sack, 4th sack of the year. So it all comes down to this then. A field goal that could give Georgia Southern the SEC championship. It's up and it is good. The field goal attempt is good. And Georgia Southern on the final buzzer is going to win the SEC championship. Georgia Southern now with double-digit wins. They are 10-2 with that 7-2 conference record to go with it as well. Northwestern State, their season really ending in absolute heartbreak. You absolutely hate to see it. Hard-fought game between these two teams, but Georgia Southern, they do win this game, and that could play them into the top 8 to get themselves a first-round bye. We'll just have to wait and see what happens throughout the league. So we have the Conference USA Championship on deck, and this is actually the game of the week, or at least considered by, the NCAA 06 game itself. Should be a pretty good matchup here. We got number 10 SMU taking on the number 3 ranked Eastern Carolina Pirates. Both teams in play for that top 8 first-round bye as well, as both teams now are getting ready to take the field. Eastern Carolina currently undefeated at the moment at 11-0. But this SMU team is nothing to scoff at. But they got to find a way to stop that man, Brian Haston, who is currently in the Heisman finalist list. Almost 1,500 yards of rushing on the year. And, of course, no surprise that Lee Corso going to be rocking with the Pirates. We'll see if that prediction lives up to the hype. But right now, the curse is real as Brian Hughes, the strong safety, gets his 3rd interception of the season and just read the eyes of the quarterback right there, Ricky McFadden, and gives SMU a chance to cash in early. Looking down the sideline, he's got a man in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Mustangs. And that's how you silence a crowd early. Big time throw-in catch, as there was not a lot of space on that back boundary, but he was able to give credit to his receiver, by the way, able to drag the foot. Wouldn't have counted as a catch in the NFL, but this isn't the NFL. This is good old-fashioned college football. as Eastern Carolina, they're going to respond in earnest right away, as it's all knotted up at 7 apiece now. Ricky McFadden, after throwing an interception, makes up for it. So it's all knotted up now at 7 apiece as Dante Rogers sits in the shotgun formation. Running back in the backfield, 4 wide set. Rogers looking, gonna get, no, he fumbles it, and Eastern Carolina is going to recover it. So another turnover here gives Eastern Carolina the chance to take the lead for the very first time today, as that offensive lineman simply was overpowered, it looks like, in that circumstance. And Eastern Carolina able to catch in with a field goal, but we will see them start to pull away a little bit here towards the end of the first half, as we will see a 55-yard touchdown down the right sideline. As when Ricky McFadden has the time that he does in the pocket, he's going to deliver. No problem there. So a 20-10 lead for the Pirates, as Dante Rogers looking for a little bit of help here, but he's going to get it from his receiver, who fought and clawed with his fingernails to get into the end zone there. It's a touchdown for the Mustangs. 20-17 game, as Ricky McFadden gonna hand it off to his tailback Brian Haston, who simply just out here making it look easy. Just a star tailback with a good offensive line as well. And now Rogers desperately needing an end zone score to cut it within 3. Rogers in the shotgun formation, got some pressure, gonna get it out to the left hand side. It's a screen though, and just the perfect play call against the blitz. Eastern Carolina, they sent the house, and they didn't have enough people on the edge there, as that will cut it down to within 3 points. But Mustangs can't capitalize. They can't take the lead, so they have to go ahead and punt this football away to a very dangerous Brian Haston, who breaks 1 tackle, gets away from a second, and that girl is gonna be gone like a girl in a country song. Touchdown Pirates, as that is now 275 total yards for Brian Haston. That will seal the Conference USA Championship game for the Pirates there. A perfect season, 12-0 between the regular season and this conference championship. SMU should still make it into the playoffs, but they might have to go on the road for their first round matchup. As the Pirates, they did their job. They ran the football well, and passing game did enough as well to ensure this victory here, as Eastern Carolina prevails 34-24 in this one. So another game that features 2 top 25 matchups is the MAC Conference Championship game. Now, this is certainly a must-win for Ball State, as is, they could find themselves on the bubble if they don't win this game. But Akron's been having a really special year themselves, coming in ranked number 4 in the country. They are sitting at 10-1 at the moment. So Ball State will certainly have some work to do if they want to beat these guys, as they are led by Sean Walker, who's closing in on 1,000 yards rushing, has 12 touchdowns on the season. Certainly an extremely talented running back. But Ball State gets the football first, and they drove all the way into the goal line. Looking down the middle of the field, and it's going to be a touchdown for Ball State. The Cardinals striking first in this one, as that is a 10-yard touchdown pass that will make it an early 7-0 lead, as there was just so much space there to work with. I could have thrown it through that kind of hole, let me tell you. So the Cardinals take an early 7-0 lead as they look to build off of it, looking towards the end zone, but it's intercepted though, and that could be the spark that Akron needs. Brian Woods with a key interception there that will let them take over. It looks like about the 22-yard line after being tackled from the horse collar. I am surprised that they did not call that horse collar tackle right there, as now Akron looking to get some points on board. Double coverage, but it doesn't matter. It becomes a foot race, and there's not enough real estate. Touchdown, Akron. And beautiful job there by Walker, waiting till the very last moment. Thought he was going to see, eventually throw it away. That did not happen. And this thing now becomes all knotted up at 7 apiece. Ball State looking to take over, trying to get some points on board themselves. Huge throw in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Cardinals. And it looks like it's going to be back and forth. They realize the gravity of the situation, and they are not going to wait. Another touchdown there makes it 14-10. It's now dropping back again, looking to build off of this, but that's intercepted. And maybe we'll see Akron get another score because of it, as Marcus Cannon with his 5th interception of the season. And just the receiver didn't fight for enough. That really what it boils down to. And because of that, it's a chance for Akron to take the lead. Play action, looking to the back of the end zone and finds the tight end. That will give the Zips the lead with just 34 seconds left to play in this 3rd quarter. Now we move on to the 4th. It's still a 1-possession game now, as it can still go either direction as he tries to get it into the end zone, but instead it becomes the 3rd turnover of the day for Ball State. And that is just, you want to talk about shooting yourself in the foot. That is certainly that. Those turnovers do actually become the difference, as Akron used all those turnovers to come out on top. They win by a final score of 22-17. This was a game that Ball State should have won, but now that they didn't, obviously Akron, they will get a 1st round bye. As for Ball State, looks like they're going to be moving on to the bubble, and we will see if they get into the FCS playoffs or not. So the last conference championship game of this episode is the Big 12 championship. We got Grambling State and we got the Southern Jaguars, who are currently number 24 in the country. Now, a couple of episodes ago, we did see Southern take care of business against Texas Southern in order to punch their ticket into this conference championship game. And now playing with a chip on their shoulder, Southern looking to take care of business against Grambling State. Grambling State, of course, both of these teams really need to win this game in order to go to the FCS playoffs. Winner will go on, the loser goes home. You know the story, you know the tale. And now we'll jump into it. Joe Overstreet in the shotgun formation. Grambling State to start with a football and finds the tight end early. Gonna rumble and stumble his way across the 50-yard line. That's a big gain for the Tigers of Grambling State to get things underway. But their drive will starve out, though, as now Mike Hill and company is going to take over, as we see the big-time connection between Mike Hill and Kevin O'Neal. An early 53-yard strike to begin this game, as Mike Hill, one-on-one coverage. You do not do that against this receiver. Plain and simple. And it will have him set up shot at about the 25-yard line, as Hill looking to pass again. Rolls to the left. Looks downfield. Finds the tight end, who fights forward and gets it into the end zone. Touchdown, Jaguars. As they will draw the first blood in this battle between Tigers and Jaguars. 7-0 lead as Mike Hill gets his guys on the board first. Grambling cannot respond, so Southern offense back on the field again, and it's Kevin O'Neal again with yet another big-time catch. He's been making Mike Hill look pretty good over the course of the year. If that catch did not put him over 1,000 yards, I'm pretty sure he's getting very close to it. He's been very successful over the course of the season. As Hill dropping back again, looking to the right-hand side this time, and it's another touchdown for Mike Hill. Matthew Berry with the reception there, as Hill is able to drop it right into the bucket. And it's a 14-0 gain, as Grambling State's offense continuing to struggle to generate really any kind of offense, and giving Southern, really the chance to put a finishing blow early potentially, as Kevin O'Neal all by himself That brother was wide butt naked open there. I mean, look at it from Mike Hill's point of view. Nobody around Kevin O'Neal. That has to be a breakdown in coverage. You do not allow somebody with an impact player star. You can't allow them to get open. But give Grambling State credit. Kevin Moss, first interception of the year. Big time interception. Way to get your first one, by the way, to help maybe stop the bleeding a little bit, but still 21-0. That offense, it has to do something eventually. But we start to see the Tigers defense wake up a little bit. They understand the gravity of the situation. They need all the help they can get right now, as they will force them to punt the football away, really for the first time today. And this could be the spark that they're looking for. On the 10, the 5, touchdown, Grambling State. The first score for the Tigers comes off a punt return, and it was badly needed. They had to get that goose egg off the scoreboard, and that's exactly what they did right there. And also forcing some turnovers. So 2 turnovers in a row, followed by a punt. Maybe this is what the Tigers needed. Trying to claw their way back into this game. Don't sleep on them yet, boys. We'll see how they can respond. First and goal from the 5-yard line. Few plays later. Overstreet in the shotgun formation. We're going to get it into the end zone. Bunch to the right. Overstreet looking. Throw it. Fires it in there. And it's a touchdown for the Tigers. First offensive score of the day. And after Southern blazing out to a 21-0 lead here early, now it's back to a 1-score game. But Mike Hill, he can still chuck that ball all over the yard. We're getting a treat here, man. Joe Overstreet, Mike Hill, 2 very talented quarterbacks going at it in a big-time conference championship game. As that is a dot. Hold that dot. 29-yard touchdown for Kevin O'Neal. As that is another score downfield. 28-14. And now it's Joe Overstreet's turn to respond. Shotgun formation, 5 wide set. Gonna throw it over the middle to the crossing route. He finds some space down the sideline. Has some room to work. Is it gonna be a touchdown? Yes, sir! Touchdown, Grambling State. And the Tigers respond right back. Now going back and forth like a ping pong match. In a 1-score game now. Hope you guys brought the track cleats, because we got ourselves a track meet here. Overstreet. 30 seconds left here in the first half. They actually have the chance here to tie this game. Think about it. They started off down 21-0. And you're telling me they can tie this thing possibly? Unfathomable if you're a Southern guy. But Grambling State continuing to rumble downfield as Joe Overstreet really feeling himself right now. 3 consecutive completions in this ball game. And this could be the final drive of the first half. Overstreet looking to the left. He's going to throw it downfield, and it gets him inside the 10-yard line, as it's now 4 consecutive completions for Joe Overstreet. And it sets up a red zone opportunity. They've been pretty good down here. 82% on the season. How about we get those numbers up a little bit? Unless this flag is on Grambling State, we'll have to go ahead and see what the penalty is about. But it turns out that it's an offside penalty on Southern. So the touchdown will indeed count. And that will now go ahead and tie this thing up at 28 apiece. We'll see how Mike Hill and company, but we see an interception. Daryl Smith, first pick of the day. He's been a bad man, averaging almost 1 interception caught a game. This defensive back on another level. And now Grambling State can take the lead. Big time collapse for Southern right now. Hopefully they can get themselves back together. But Joe Overstreet runs out of time in the pocket as Alex Allen gets his very first sack of the ball game there. As we will now see Grambling State have to punt this ball away. As we cut into later in the third quarter. 4th and short. Mike Hill looking to throw for the first down. And not only does he get the first down, but he also gets the touchdown. And Southern now back on top, 35-28. As now we see potentially yet another cold spell for the Tigers, as they got to punt this football away, get it out to the Southern Special Teams unit. 24, taking it to the 30, to the 20, and mama, there goes that man. Touchdown, Jaguars. And now we're seeing them pull away a little bit more, as it's a 2-possession game, possibly 3 possessions, depending on how this intercepted. No, it's not intercepted. It's actually caught inside the 10-yard line as Kevin Berry, right in between those 2 defenders. He had safety help. And Mike Hill continues his career day, almost 400 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, make it 6 touchdowns, as it's now a free-score game. After Grambling State, they do all that work to tie this thing up at 28 apiece. We now will witness 28 unanswered points for the Jaguars, with less than 3 minutes left to go. And Mike Hill with yet another passing touchdown. He comes out 7 passing touchdowns on the day. Absolutely incredible work. And that is the ultimate difference, as Southern ends up winning the Big 12 Conference Championship. They will win this thing by a final score of 56-28, which does officially mean that we will see the Southern Jaguars dancing in the FCS playoffs. Grambling State, just a game of spurts, man. Southern with a huge, 21 unanswered points to start, and then Grambling State responded, and then Southern really turning it up a notch there in the second half to secure the bag and go to the FCS playoffs, as we will see how high Southern jumps up. Good game, though. So with all the conference championship games now officially completed, we have now found out who has the automatic qualifier spots for the FCS playoffs. Next episode, gonna be a special one here for you guys. Gonna be revealing the full FCS playoff bracket as we get ready for diving into some deep FCS playoff action that is gonna help determine who is the national champion here in season number 1. So guys, you're not going to want to miss a thing. Of course, it's going to also be a YouTube premiere as well, and it's going to be an exciting one. I hope you guys are ready for it. If you are, make sure you go ahead, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. If you do happen to be brand new, hit that notification bell so that you can be notified when the FCS playoff bracket drops. And with that, I hope you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.